Well, hello once again and welcome here to the Double M Farm. I've had some requests to do a complete review and walk around of the little Harbor Freight towable backhoe trencher. If you've watched any of my other videos, I've covered a lot of this stuff already, but some people have wanted to hear a complete review, sort of condense everything into one video. So this video doesn't show the machine in action. If you want to see it digging or moving or anything like that, you can check out some of my other videos or some of the other videos on the YouTube. So what we're going to talk about today is just basically a walk around front to back of the Harbor Freight towable backhoe trencher. And we'll start at one end and work our way to the other end. I guess the big question is, are you pleased with it? Would you buy it again? Answers yes and yes. It's done everything I expected it to do. It's done more than I expected it to do. It's dug a lot harder, deeper, stronger than I ever thought it would dig. It's been a very, very good machine for the money invested. I would not hesitate to buy another one. I've got, I don't know how many hours I've got on it. I've lost track. I've had it about 6 months and have been using the heck out of it. I have really, really put it through its paces. So we'll start here at the trailer hitch end. You notice the extra set of tires. This is in towing mode. We've got it hooked to our little Ford 1210 tractor. Does a good job pulling it. You see it's in the towing configuration. And obviously, if you haven't bought one of these, when you buy one, it comes with one set of tires, axles, and hubs. I highly recommend getting a second set. It makes life a whole lot easier with a second set of tires. You can see I have them there, and I built a little add-on there with a couple of 12-inch receiver tubes, reach tubes, that I welded some angle iron on and bolted them to the axles on the tongue end, so that when I'm in towing mode, it gives me a place to put that set of tires to get them out of the way. And then when I'm in digging mode, those tires go in there, and the towing tires go in the storage area. So that's one thing I've done that you may want to consider, an extra set of tires, axles, and hubs. You can get them just by calling Harbor Freight customer service. Tell them you want a replacement set of axles and hubs. They'll send them to you. And then you can go to any place that sells trailer tires and buy you a couple of tires to go on them. The Predator engine. Predator 9 horsepower. This is the stock engine. I have not changed it. Fantastic little engine. A lot of power. Cranks first pull every time. When it's cold, you pull the choke. I leave it right on the bottom of the throttle. Pull it one time, it cranks up. I push the choke in about halfway. Let it run for a few seconds and then push the choke completely in. And she's just a running little engine. When I'm digging, I run about half to 3/4 throttle. I don't think I have ever, maybe one time, run it full throttle digging. And be honest with you, I find it to be a little bit jerky in its movements when it's at full throttle. It actually wants to go faster than I want it to go. And I find myself being a little bit jerky on the workings of the hydraulics when I have it at full throttle. So I'm a lot smoother with it at about half to 3/4 throttle. I can run it real smooth and have no problems with it, and it digs just as well. And like I've said in other videos, I'm in no hurry, so I'm happy with it right there. So any kind of word on the engine is good. I have no complaints about the engine at all. It has 2 oil fill plugs. I don't know if you can see, there's one down there, a little yellowish orange looking plug, and there's another one on the back side, the other side. So it has 2 plugs going into the oil chamber there. Has an air filter in here that you want to check periodically and make sure you clean. Other than that, and changing the oil as you would with any engine, there's really very little maintenance to do. The gas tank holds, I believe it's 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons. Should have checked that before I started the video. I've forgotten, but it's very easy to look up. and it just sips gas. I can dig all day and still have gas left over. So review of the engine is on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give it a 9 or a 10. It's just an outstanding engine. Moving up from there, under the seat here we have the hydraulic tank, and you see the fill plug on top. And something that I call a bit of a design flaw in the fill plug, move the seat, maybe you can see a little better, is right, I'm trying to get to where we can see it. Right here you see the O-ring and the threads. The threads inside this thing only come to about here, so the plug will not screw all the way in, which means the O-ring will not go all the way down. So I'm going to get a couple more O-rings and sandwich them on there, because when you're moving it, when you push down on your boom and pick up on the machine to move it, you will have some hydraulic fluid run out there. So that's a little bit of a design flaw, and as far as I've been able to see, they're all like that. Everyone I have seen on the internet has been that same way. And the drain plug, you can probably see, is on the bottom of the hydraulic tank. Comes empty, so when you get one, you have to put oil in the crankcase of the engine. You have to put hydraulic fluid in that tank, and then you just run her to get the air out of the hydraulic system, and she's ready to go. The hydraulic hoses, where they come through down in here, will rub, so you want to keep an eye on them. I've put a couple of zip ties on them. With the shadow you may not be able to see them, I apologize for that, but right down in this area here they will rub, so keep an eye on that. You don't want to rub through and have to replace hydraulic hoses. If they do, it's not that hard to replace, but that's something to keep an eye on. As we move forward, you'll see the pins. I've got my Outriggers. If you've seen any of my videos, I mounted, get my shadow out of the way, mounted my Outriggers like that so I can have them on the machine when I'm towing it and not have to worry about picking them up and hauling them around. Everything is self-contained on the machine this way. And you see those red pins, they're straight. The pins that come with the machine are angled pins like this, similar to a pin in a reese hitch. And they will, if you've watched other people's videos, they will egg out the holes, especially the holes which is underneath here holding the outrigger on. That movement of the outrigger as you're digging, that angle will move around and egg it out. So I recommend going to the straight pins. These are 3/4 pins, 4 inches long, and they work on everything. They reach through everything. You can see up front there holding the, what would hold the tire on if the tire was mounted. You'll see one hanging down there. They work outstanding, and no egging. Been using it for 6 months of hard digging, no egging out. We're going to get up here and sit in the operator's seat. My grandson calls it the driver's seat. Whoo, seat's hot. Sunshine is really bearing down on this black seat. And I believe, I can't tell for the sun, but I think I'm there. The controls. First control starting at the left. This control moves the boom right to left. As hooked up from the factory, if you follow the numbered hoses when you assemble it, if you push it, it will move the boom to the left. If you pull it, the boom will go to the right. Second lever is the up and down movement of the boom. And the way it's numbered, if you hook it up the way it's numbered, it's that cylinder right there in front of us. If you hook it up by those numbers, when you push it, the boom, as you saw it jerk there, I released the pressure, the boom wants to come towards you, and if you pull it, the boom wants to go away from you. Well, that didn't feel natural to me, so I reversed those two hoses. They have been reversed. The hose on the bottom is numbered to go up there. The hose on the top is numbered to go there. I reversed them, so now when I push the lever, the boom goes away from me. When I pull the lever, the boom comes towards me. I find that a lot more natural. That's the only one I reversed. The next one is the extended arm of the boom. you push it out, it goes out. If you pull it towards you, the extended arm comes back towards you. And then the final one on the far right is the bucket. You push it out, the bucket curls out. You pull it towards you, the bucket curls in. So the only one I reversed was this first cylinder here for the second control. I reversed it. It's just more natural to me to pull it towards me to get the boom to come towards me. So that's the operating of the machine. Just that simple. And the more you use it, the more you get used to it, and it's very simple to do. You see the little toolbox that I added? There are 4 bolts that hold the hydraulic unit onto the frame, and I used those bolts, drilled holes in that toolbox, and mounted it on there. What else? Let's see. There have been talks about the outriggers being weak and breaking. Some people I know have broke them. Without hurting anyone's feelings, I got to tell you, if you break those outriggers, you're really putting a lot of pressure on them. Because I have dug in some extremely hard, I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountain clay, hard as concrete, and I haven't put a bend in either one of those outriggers. But I listen to the machine, and if I feel like I'm starting to stress it, I back off and just take a smaller bite. Don't try to dig 4 foot deep in the first scoop. Take the top layer off. But that's true with any backhoe. I don't care how big the backhoe is. Take the first layer off, then go back to the same hole and take the next layer. You dig in layers, and you won't have to worry too much about breaking anything. I don't always listen to the machine like I should, just like our kids don't always listen to us like they should, and sometimes I stress it more than I should. But so far I've been lucky and haven't broken anything. So the outriggers, I can't complain. I'm sure eventually I'll probably break one. I'll get hung up on some of this hard clay and break one, but so far I haven't. Bucket, I have heard talk from other people that the buckets are weak. I don't know where that came from. I haven't had any problems in 6 months of digging in red clay and limestone. I don't, you can see it right there. Don't even have a bent tooth. The teeth are straight. The bucket is still solid. And I don't baby this machine. Again, I listen to the machine. I've used it enough and learned the sounds it makes. The hydraulics will whistle when they reach their limit as the bypass kicks in for the fluid. The metal on the machine, if it reaches a stress level, you'll hear it once you learn the machine, and you just back off and take a smaller bite. Let's see, what else? One thing that a lot of people seem to have reservations about when they're thinking about buying one of these is delivery. Ordering it, having it delivered, and then assembling it. People, please, if you're interested in one of these, do not let the delivery, if you read what they say on the Harbor Freight website, it will kind of scare you. Don't let it. Delivery was a piece of cake. I'm in South Carolina at the Blue Ridge Mountains. It came from California. It took about 9 days, I believe it was, from the day I ordered it till the day it arrived. The trucking company, I can only speak for the ones I worked with, and they delivered it. I believe came into Charlotte, and then from Charlotte it came down into South Carolina on a delivery truck. And they list on the website that you can pay extra for a lift gate on the truck to make it easier. Well, guess what? When they brought mine, the truck had a lift gate, and I didn't pay any extra for it. They just automatically came in a lift gate. The truck driver told me himself that particular company, they leave it up to the driver as to whether or not they want to run a truck with a lift gate or not. And he said he always tries to get the truck with the lift gate on his deliveries because he has a lot of big items. Then there's another problem. The crate was so long, it wouldn't have worked on the lift gate anyhow. It hung off both sides of the lift gate. So there are all kind of ways to get around it. If you will watch Unemployed Redneck Hillbilly Creations, he has one of the best videos on unloading it I've seen. I should have filmed mine because I didn't unload mine the way he did. He had some equipment there and lifts that he just lifted it off the truck. What I did, I took a trailer, my big farm trailer, which has a winch on it, backed it up to the delivery truck. We put a strap around the crate and drug it off of the delivery truck using the winch on my trailer. When it got to the lift gate, he did lower it, but the crate was so big it would hang up on either side, with the arms on the lift gate. So I'm not sure we would have been able, without my winch, I don't know that we would have been able to move it anyway. And he couldn't get a forklift, a pallet jack under it, because they didn't put runners under the pallet. It was sitting flat in the truck. So if we hadn't had my winch to drag it out, I'm not sure how we would have gotten it out. But you can work it out. It can be done. So don't let the delivery and assembly scare you off from buying one of these machines. As far as assembly, again, same guy, Unemployed Redneck Hillbilly Creations, has one of the best videos on the internet for assembly. It really gives you some good tips on assembling. The book that comes with it does show all of the parts in it, and doesn't really tell you how to assemble it, but if you just look at the pictures, you can pretty much figure it out on your own. It's not that complicated. There's really not a lot to put on. The seat, the hydraulic unit, and the boom, and that's really about all there is to put on it. So don't let that scare you away. It's very simple and easy to do, and there's not a problem. Again, while we're talking about Unemployed Redneck Hillbilly, he also has a fantastic video on greasing. I would walk around to the other side, but I'm afraid that the sunshine is going to black out the camera if I do. I tried to park it here where we'd be in the sun, and if I come around here, yeah, the sun's going to black it out. But all of the grease pins are very simple and easy to grease. If you, again, watch Unemployed Redneck Hillbilly Creations, he'll have a very good video on greasing and on assembly. So that's a good one to watch. Gone Red Car 1 has some real good videos on his. His is the older model that's orange instead of red. He has the souped up one. He went to a diesel engine and has a roll cage on it. Really sweet looking machine. He also has the 4 tires and really got a sweet souped up trencher backhoe from Harbor Freight. Another one, Larry Hazelwood has, I believe it's Larry Hazelwood, I think that's his name. He has some good videos as well. So there's all kind of information on the internet about these things on YouTube. So don't be afraid of the machine, of the delivery and assembly. Don't let that keep you from buying the machine. It's an outstanding little machine. I guess if I have to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, as it comes out of the box, I'd give it a 8 plus. After I've done a couple of things to it, like mounting the outriggers, getting the extra set of tires and axles, and mounting the toolbox, I'd put her at a 10. She's now, as she sits right now, I'd give her a 10 the way I've got her sitting, as far as doing what I want her to do, which is ditching, digging up stumps, putting in water lines and drain fields. What else have I done with her? Goodness. Dug a small pond. There's just, I started to say there's no limit, but I'm sure, as with any piece of equipment, there's always a limit. But if you treat her right, if you treat her the way she should be treated, this machine will give you a long, long service life. You'll eventually break something. We all will. Some have, some haven't. I'm one of the ones that hasn't so far. But you break something, you order a new one, or either have a new one made and fix it and keep on going. That's a 1986 Ford 1210 tractor, and I'm always breaking something on it. So things happen. Things break. When you're on a farm, you're going to break something. The machine is heavy. That's about 1,200 pounds roughly where she's sitting right now with everything on it. And on my hilly land, that little tractor right there, that's an 18-horse Ford 1210. And there's a couple places where it'll strain to pull it up a hill, just because of the configuration and the weight being mostly back there at the boom. I actually have to put a little safety chain on my 3-point hitch. You can see, I guess you can see it, I've got a little extra chain there, so that when I'm going downhill, the weight of the machine will actually want to force the 3-point hitch up, pick it up, and the weight of the machine pushing it. So I put a little safety chain on there to keep it from doing that. But that's my walk around and review. It's a great little machine. It'll do anything it was designed to do, plus a little more if you just take care of it and treat her the way she should be treated. If you have any questions, post them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, if you're thinking of buying a Harbor Freight trencher, you can go watch some of my other videos to see it in action. You can watch some of the other ones I've mentioned on YouTube. Just do a search for Harbor Freight backhoe trencher, backhoe, towable trencher, backhoe, and all kind of things will come up, and you will see the good and the bad. You will see the things that have broken for people, and you will see the things that it'll do. So don't be afraid by something that breaks. It's a $2,700 machine. Something's going to break eventually if you use it. Just use it, but use it wisely, and she'll do everything you want her to do. So once again, thanks for visiting us here on Double M Farm, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.